feels long to me when I read it. I may leave some of these out, so if you're like, where'd that number go? 21 thoughts on the stereotype that all brown people are terrorists. 1. My mother is black. My father Iranian. As an American, this means that I am born under 2 bad signs. 2. Acts of terror are constituted by the use of violence against civilians to intimidate and induce fear. 3. I'm not certain, but I do not think every brown thing is hoping to commit acts of terror. I've encountered a number of brown dogs that were not terrorists. This is not to equate the brown man with the dog, I'm just saying it's interesting. 4. I've known my fair share of white dogs that were total shits. 5. My parents have 3 brown chairs. Only one is a terrorist. 7. Do you remember the craziness that came with the sorrow of this country after 9/11? How crazed we became with fear. I had dreams of men on the street beating my father because of his name and accent. 8. My father, not a terrorist. 9. The census labels Middle Eastern as Caucasian. 10. Dick Cheney, not brown. 11. Noam Chomsky says, if they do it, it's terrorism. If we do it, it's counterterrorism. The machine of propaganda is a strange and colorblind and colorful machine. During World War II, comic books pushed forward stories centered around American supermen triumphing over the evil Germans and Japanese. It is always easiest to turn our hearts by affecting our eyes. 12. The Red Scare was based on fear of the unknown, fear of opposing ideologies. McCarthyism was a terrorist act committed by a government on its own people. 13. 10 years after the building's fall, I'm in the airport security line, and the woman asked me if my name, sounding a tad bit foreign, and my face, looking a tad bit Baghdad, asked if the name is a family name. I have never known there to be a different kind. 14. Growing up, my favorite television show was MacGyver. For those of you unfamiliar with it, MacGyver dealt with a gentleman who could make explosives out of whatever happened to be on hand, be it a peppermint and a half a ball of string, or a pencil case and 3 cardboard tubes. I watched it religiously for years. I never learned how to make a bomb from watching it. Perhaps this was not the case with other brown people. 15. Osama bin Laden, not white. 16. My friend Tim Perkins told me when he was a kid, he went to a largely black school. He's white. One day, his friends were talking about white folks, and he asked, well, what about me? They said, you're not white, you're Italian. This has nothing to do with terrorism. I still find it interesting. 17. The most famous American domestic terrorist, Timothy McVeigh, killed 168 innocent people in the Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy McVeigh, not Italian. 18. The IRA has committed acts of terror for 70-plus years. Britain began theirs long before this. 19. The American presidency, like the leaders of all nations, comes with it the administrating of acts of terror for the betterment and protection of its citizens. The terrorist acts from our leaders that we do not hear of do not necessarily mean our presidents were more courageous, simply that they were quieter. 20. Sometimes, when I watch television, I ask myself, is that brown man a terrorist? What about that one? And that one is he. The first man is Wayne Brady, obviously. The second is Aziz Ansari. The third is my president. I do not know the answers to my questions. 21. Public Enemy tells me this country is a fear of a black planet. Such heavy clothing fear becomes upon our bodies. Your coat will not protect you. No matter how clean, how starched, how bright it may be, we are all Russians. Every one of us Russians, born under a strange time in American history. Thank you.